Do not think for a second that I forgot about the Vatican. Let's talk about the Vatican, guys. Check this out. Here is the synod. Oh, got to be more welcoming to Sodom and Gomorrah. We should start Ted's version of church militant. The Pope of Rome. You know, the Roman Catholics are so full of cope, it's unreal. I've never seen a people who cope so much as them. Like, the Pope could literally worship the devil, and they'd be like, actually, no. He said he was worshiping Lucifer, but he was actually using the Latin word Lucifer, which means light bearer, which is actually a name of God. So when he said he was worshiping Lucifer, he was really worshiping God. Like, they would make up these bullshit arguments for anything. So I don't call it the Pope of Rome. I call it the Cope of Rome. That's what the Catholic Church has become. Literally, it's the Cope of Rome, guys. The Cope of Rome, because the Roman Catholics are always trying to cope with everything. So this is the Cope of Rome that I'm talking about. So here we go. Look, here's the synod, everybody. Pre-synod retreat. Father Timothy Radcliffe encourages centering gay people. Here we go. So here's Father Radcliffe. This past weekend, the Assembly's nearly 400 participants left Rome for a retreat, which was preached by Father Timothy Radcliffe, former head of the Worldwide Dominicans and an LGBTQ positive voice. Here we go. The Pope of Rome, everybody. The Cope of Rome. Here's the Cope of Rome. LGBTQ positive voice. Lijbitk positive voice. In his second of 6 meditations, Radcliffe picked up on the idea of the church as a home and notes the instrumentum laboris. Recognize gay people as among those who feel the church is not a safe home because it is experienced as exclusive, marginalizing many people. Oh, really? So tell me, why is most of the priesthood gay if the church is not welcoming to LGBT blah 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 people? The alphabet gang. Tell me, if it's not open to the alphabet people, the people who monopolize these letters of the alphabet, then why is the majority of the priesthood homosexual? Tell me. It's very welcoming to Sodom. We know this for a fact, just given how many homosexuals are in the priesthood. So it's very welcoming. So this is what this Radcliffe guy said. Is this music too loud? I think the music is pretty good. In the 1980s, reflecting on the church's response to AIDS, I visited a London hospital. The consultant told me that there was a young man asking for a priest called Timothy. By God's providence, I managed to anoint him shortly before he died. He asked to be buried at Westminster Cathedral, the centre of Catholicism in England. He was surrounded by the ordinary people who came to that weekday mass, as well as by the people with AIDS, nurses, doctors, and gay friends. The one who had been on the periphery because of his illness, because of his sexual orientation, and most of all, because he was now dead, was at the center. He was surrounded by those for whom the church was home, and those who would normally never enter a church. We must journey towards a church in which they are no longer at the margin, but in the center. Radcliffe also quoted the theologian Father James Allison, an openly gay priest, as writing, "God is among us as one cast out." Oh, this is the church that they say was founded by Jesus, everybody. Jesus founded this church. When St. Paul literally tells the Roman church in his letter to the Romans that people turned to Sodom and God cut them off. And then he tells the Romans in chapter 11 in his letter to the Romans, do not think that God will not cut you off. If he cut off Israel, he will cut you off. But here we are, embracing Sodom in the Vatican. And I have a little joke about the word Vatican. I care as much for the Vatican as I do Seattle. I think it's worse than Seattle. I don't know. The Polish Catholics want to save their Pope of Rome, John Paul II, by not wanting to accept the fact he protected pedophiles. And hasn't the Polish government recently, don't they want to pass a law? Or have they done it already? But I read that they wanted to pass a law that literally would make it illegal to criticize John Paul II. Tell me, have they? And this is insane, guys. This is so crazy. Check this out. Hold on. Let me see. Is there anything else interesting in this article? One synod participant commented, women in whatever. Hold on a second. The National Catholic Reporter interviewed several leading Lidzbitsk advocates in the U.S. ahead of the Synod Assembly's start. Among the insights in that article, Union Trujillo, author of LGBTQ Catholics, said I don't care about this. This is all insanity. It's all bullshit. Anyway, it's hold on. John Paul II is already declared a saint. Doesn't Poland want to make a law John Paul II? Don't they want to make a law making it illegal to say any shit about John Paul II? Adopts resolution defending John Paul II. Following sex abuse report. Here we go. JP2, the biggest thing that ever came out of Poland. That's why they want to protect him so bad, I guess. I guess it makes Poland more significant. Hold on. I think they want to make it a law, don't they? Or have they done it already? It says here, inflation, corruption, the big subject dominating Poland's politics ahead of this fall's parliamentary election is the legacy of John Paul II. Although the canonized Polish pontiff has been dead since 2005, he's become the hottest subject in Poland following an explosive documentary aired by the U.S.-owned broadcaster TVN, alleging that when he was a cardinal in his home city of Krakow, he protected priests accused of sexual molesting children. That caused a collective meltdown in the ranks of the ruling Nationalist Law and Justice Party, which is closely allied to the powerful Roman Catholic Church. But don't they want to make it a law that you can't? So here it is. I think this is it right here. March of 2023, Parliament defends John Paul II. I think this is it. Polish boomers in the PIS Law and Justice Party would like to, but it will be hard because it is against the Constitution. I can't wait for the Streisand effect, making tons of memes about him. Oh, good night, Robbie. Anyway, well, what are we talking about? I forgot. What's going on? So I want to show you guys something else. Check this out. Check this shit out, guys. Here's more of Sodom and Gomorrah here. John Paul II, everybody. Francis. We got Francis in the house, not John Paul II. I get the popes confused. They're all the same to me. Pope Francis confirms LGBT community's place in the church. I'm sure you guys heard about this. Basically, Francis said something about blessing gay unions. Now, remember, Francis has supported gay unions. He says we need a law that allows for gay unions. Okay. So, hold on a second. So, there was the Dubia, right? So the Roman Catholics are always coping about, how they have like they have like a handful of base cardinals. They have a handful of cardinals that aren't as bad as the other cardinals. Remember it now, everybody. The majority of cardinals in the Catholic Church love Sodom and Gomorrah. We knew that back in 2014, when they had the Synod on the Family, and there was this statement that was made saying that there was a statement coming from the Vatican saying that members of Sodom have things to offer the church. Remember that nonsense back in 2014, the night of the Synod on the Family, and there was a statement coming from the Vatican, or a group of people in the Vatican saying that that members of Sodom have something to offer the church. And they did a vote on that statement alone. And the majority of the cardinals voted in favor of that statement. Only a minority of the cardinals voted against it. So we know for a fact that the majority of the cardinals are evil. Most of them are evil. Michael Lofton keeps saying this isn't his blessing since Francis said it's wrong to bless sin in 2021. This is just Catholic doublespeak. That's all. The Catholic Church is full of doublespeak. It's not doing this, but it's doing this. Okay, so let's look at it real quick. So there was the Dubia that happened. Remember, Francis said he supports gay unions. That right there, and that into itself is an abomination. So, there was the Dubia. So these 5 cardinals, they sent a letter. So a Dubia in the Catholic world is basically when you ask the Pope a question, and the Pope answers with a yes or a no. That's it. The Pope didn't answer with a yes or a no because the Pope doesn't want to say no, but the Pope doesn't want to say yes because that would expose him. So he has to give this long, equivocating answer. And what the Pope essentially said was, gay unions are not marriage, but there's a different type of blessing that we can give them. Do you see what I'm saying? So it says here, Pope Francis seemed to suggest that the Catholic Church needed to have pastoral charity when it comes to same-sex marriages. The defense of objective truth is not the only expression of this charity. Oh, so there's other expressions of charity outside of objective truth, according to Pope Francis. It also includes kindness, patience, understanding, tenderness, and encouragement. Therefore, we cannot be judges who only deny, reject, and exclude. He added that, quote, pastoral prudence must adequately discern whether there are forms of blessing requested by one or more persons, that more persons is gay unions, that do not convey a mistaken concept of marriage. So in other words, we can't give them the same blessing that we would give to a marriage, but we can give them a blessing. Do you see what I'm saying here? You see this insanity? Francis also affirmed that the Church believes in a marriage that is an exclusive, stable, and indissoluble union between man and woman. Okay, so he's saying stuff that's true, but then he's saying something else in this very obscure way that could be used to justify some kind of an abomination. Do you see what I mean? BBC reported that the letter came after a group of cardinals, blah, 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 blah. So, but here's the poison. The poison is that you can bless people in these unions. That's the poison right there. Just look at this bullshit. Look at this bullshit. Pastoral prudence must adequately discern whether there are forms of blessing requested by one or more persons. So we have to have some kind of pastoral understanding that there are forms of blessing that could be given, blah, 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 blah. It's like when God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, did he say, okay, guys, we need to have discernment to see a certain blessing for certain people? It's a case-by-case basis. No, he just destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And then he tells Lot and his wife, if you turn around and look back at Sodom, I'm going to turn you into a pillar of salt. He didn't say, well, it's a case-by-case basis. I mean, I might not turn you into a pillar of salt. It's a case-by-case basis. We have to show charity. We have to show lots and lots of charity. No, he just turned you into a pillar of salt. Lot's wife looked back, and she turned into a pillar of salt. God didn't say, well, we got to have a case-by-case basis. He killed her. Now, it's very interesting. When Jesus was asked about the end times, what did Jesus say? He said what? What did he say when he was at... This end time stuff is very simple. They asked Jesus, tell us about the end times. You know what he said? He said, remember Lot's wife. Oh, yeah, they don't tell you that when you're at church. They don't tell you that in the homily. They don't tell you that in the Bible study. But they asked Jesus about the end times, and he said, remember Lot's wife. That is amazing. Remember Lot's wife. What does that mean? Remember the woman who sympathized with Sodom and turned into a pillar of salt. You can write a whole book on that subject alone. So the church is the bride of Christ, right? The church is analogized as a woman, as a bride. Lot's wife, a woman. The church is represented as a woman. The woman, the church, is doing what? What is she doing? She's turning around and looking at Sodom with sympathy. She sympathizes with Sodom. And what is God going to do? Remember what Jesus said. Remember Lot's wife. What was he essentially telling us? Remember the sympathy that a woman had for Sodom and Gomorrah. A city full of alphabet monopolizers. God is going to destroy his church. He's going to destroy the institution of the Vatican. Because why? Because the Vatican right now is acting like Lot's wife, looking back to Sodom. Oh, yes. They don't talk about this stuff at church. Everybody's terrified to talk about this stuff. Everybody's terrified to talk about this stuff. But it's the reality. What's happening right now? What did Paul tell the Roman Church, the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican? What did he tell the Roman Church? He said, people turned to Sodom, God gave them up. And then he tells them later on in chapter 11, God will give you up. Don't think that God won't give you up. What's the church doing right now? The church is turning towards Sodom. Well, he's not saying that it's the same blessing as you would give to it's a blessing to people who are members, citizens of the Republic of Sodom. That's all I need to know. You don't meddle with the wicked. The church is meddling with the wicked. That's what's happening. I don't give a shit, Michael Lofton. We need charity. We need this charity, schmerit. I don't want to hear it. You don't give blessings to Sodom. That's it. Well, back in 2021, you know what? Back in 2021, the Pope said he was for gay civil unions. Remember that bullshit? Oh, yeah, I remember. But we're supposed to have charity for everything. Everything evil. Charity for Sodom. Charity for the serial killer. That's why the Catholic Church is against the death penalty. It supports all evil. It wants to defend the pedophile. It'll take the pedophile priest, cover him up. Some pedophile rapes a kid who's deaf. Oh, send him to Buenos Aires. Send him to America. They defend the pedophile. Some guy stabs 2 women to death. The state of Florida says we're going to kill his ass. Who defends him? The Catholic fucking Church. That's it. That's who's defending the guy who stabbed... The guy stabs 2 women to death in 1996. The state of Florida executed him, I think, yesterday or the day before yesterday. Who defended him? The Catholic Church defended him. The bishops defended him. So the Catholic Church is defending serial killers, murderers, rapists, the worst of the scum of the earth. The Church will protect. But someone like myself who says, "Hey, I was preyed upon by multiple priests." Oh no. You can go and jump off a cliff. It's insanity, guys. It is complete and utter wickedness what's happening right now. It's wickedness. It's wicked. It's just wicked. Wicked. You got all these priests looking like Star Wars villains telling us that we have to embrace Sodom and be nice to everybody. These people literally want to destroy you. Members of Sodom want to destroy you. They want to destroy the whole church. We got to be nice to them. We got to let them in. Do you know why the church is so adamant about letting in Sodom? Because the church is Sodom. That's it.